I have had a very hard day. Do not judge me.
Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy, and this is all of the Easter eggs, references, and little things you might have missed in Agatha All Along, Episode 3. So we're only 2 weeks in, and we already have our first trial. We're very excited to break this down for you guys, so let's get to it. But first, I want to let you know that we have a ScreenCrush live tour that is coming to 11 different cities very soon. Our first city is in Boston on November 7th. Tickets are on sale with the link below, plus you can find links to other dates. We're going to do live Q&As. We're going to show you how we make a ScreenCrush video. We had a lot of fun doing this last time and getting to meet you guys in person. The links are below. So the title of this episode is Many Tricks and Trials, which, just like the previous 2 episodes, is a line from the Ballad of the Witch's Road. Now, clearly there are literal trials on the road, and we see a road trick later in the episode. But I also think this is referring to the tricks they'll play on each other. For example, Agatha not drinking the wine, or Jennifer's product line containing actual petroleum. Sharon says,
This is a kidnapping.
and I just want to point out how heartbreaking this is for her character, especially considering the end of the episode. Sharon already survived a kidnapping of her own mind by Wanda, and for her, this is a kidnapping. She never agreed to travel a road that could kill her, so she survived her first kidnapping by a witch, but not her second. As they walk down the road, Agatha says,
That's exactly how I pictured it. Suits you.
and I don't think that's just a joke because he's goth and the road is dark and gloomy. I think she actually recognizes that he is a powerful witch. Everyone gets up in arms when they realize that he has a sigil hex on him.
Someone's put a sigil on that boy.
But they still don't actually know that he's the one who freed her from Wanda's spell. Rio helped her climb out, sure, but he actually said the counter spell.
What is that?
Agatha says,
Don't look at me. I didn't put that clumsy glamour on him. Sigils are beneath me.
but didn't she use them in WandaVision? No, in WandaVision she used runes. Now runes are kind of like letters and combined to create spells, like the protection both Agatha and Wanda use. But sigils are more individual. They're usually created by the magic user for a specific purpose, and they're linked to chaos magic. Now, Agatha is a magic scholar. She's learned everything through years of study.
Years of study to achieve even this smallest convincing illusion.
Whereas Wanda's magic primarily comes from her subconscious. So this sigil further supports the teen is Billy Kaplan, and the Wanda subconsciously put a sigil on him when she brought him back. And speaking of language, we got a great Easter egg from one of our fans, Chris Teresk. He noticed that each word in Agatha All Along starts with an A, and a pentagram, a symbol often associated with the devil and witchcraft, looks like 3 A's intertwined. That was a great catch. And Ogben Orinetti, a fan on our Discord, caught another Easter egg that we missed. In the first episode, when Herb says,
Oh, she's really most sincerely dead.
this is a line taken directly from The Wizard of Oz.
He's really most sincerely dead.
It's weird that I missed that because that's one of my favorite movies, and I once directed a high school production of that show. It's also a great catch. So Agatha's a show that, like, at first, I wasn't sure that we needed, but now I'm so grateful that we get something different that combines so many different areas of the MCU. It also feels like familiar and new. Now, like we talked about, this episode is giving me big Wizard of Oz vibes. It reminds me of when I was a kid, and they played The Wizard of Oz on primetime once a year, and it was one of the few nights when my mom would let me eat cereal at nighttime.
But person, now you're a grown adult man. You gotta put those childish, sugary cereals away.
Nuh-uh, I can eat all the cereal I want because this is not that old sugary cereal, but it does taste like all those cereals from my childhood. This is Magic Spoon, the sponsor of this video. Magic Spoon tastes like all those cereals from my childhood, but it has no gluten, no soy, and there are 0 grams of sugar. Plus, it has 13 to 14 grams of protein and 4 to 5 grams of net carbs per serving. But most importantly, guys, it is delicious. This one's cinnamon roll. It's one of my favorites. Magic Spoon is also high protein, keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, wheat free, and naturally flavored. These taste like all the cereals from my childhood, but they're made with grown up ingredients and nothing artificial. And now they've introduced new breakfast cereal treats: double chocolate, blueberry muffin, marshmallow, and chocolatey peanut butter. Each bar has 11 to 12 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and 1 to 2 grams of net carbs. They're fueling and perfect for a busy workday when I don't have time to sit down and eat an entire bowl of cereal. But mostly, guys, Magic Spoon is just fun. Like, I know we're grown-ups, right? We're supposed to do grown-up things, and we always worry about grown-up stuff. But Sometimes I just want to be the grown-up that I wanted to be when I was a kid. I want to eat cereal at night and watch cartoons whenever I want. So click the link below to get some Magic Spoon cereal today. You can build your very own variety box and use my code ScreenCrush for $5 off. You can also find Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. For the variety box, you can choose from their best-selling cocoa, fruity, frosted peanut butter, and maple waffle flavors, plus other awesome flavors, including honey nut, blueberry muffins, birthday cake, and cinnamon roll. And Magic Spoon is so confident in this product, it is backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So guys, click the link below or scan this QR code on screen and use the code ScreenCrush for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/ScreenCrush to save $5 off your order today. You won't regret it. I love this stuff and it really does help out our channel. Now, back to what I was saying.
Hey, we missed costuming details last week.
Oh, we did? Okay, Brianna McLarty, take it away.
So Lilia's pendant shows two hands with magic in between them. And it's hard to tell in the show, but in the Rock Love Jewelry collab, it's clear there's an eye in between the magic. This could be a reference to her power of divination, a literal second sight, or it could be a reference to Nazar, which is a bead that's used to ward off the evil eye. Alice is also wearing this big orange necklace. And Rock Love also has an Alice necklace, which they describe as bringing the groovy essence of its on-screen inspiration into a wearable retro chic piece. When Alice sees her mom later in the episode, they're clearly in the 1970s, and guess who's wearing the necklace? Lorna Wu. So it's safe to assume that this necklace was passed down from her mom. Jennifer also has a piece of rose quartz attached to her dress. In crystal magic, quartz is an absolute powerhouse of a stone. And rose quartz is used to heal relationships, not just romantically, but platonically as well. These are all witches that hate each other. Or at least hate Agatha. But this rose quartz might be our first sign that this relationship can heal. They can be an actual coven. She also has a vial pendant attached to her waist, which later becomes a necklace. And this is a nod to her potion making skills. And who knows? Maybe she even has a potion inside that's going to become relevant later. Even Sharon is wearing a crystal. Now, it's a bit hard to tell, but I think this is Moonstone. And Moonstone represents new beginnings, which makes me think maybe we aren't done with Sharon after all. That's all I got. I now depart back to my reality.
Jeez, what the heck was that? What did you put in my dog food?
Yeah, I don't know, that was scary. So, this part where Sharon Davis sits in the tar reminded me of one of the most traumatic moments of my childhood. I definitely think that this scene is coded with Artax Stein in the swamp and the Neverending Story. Later on, there's a reference to another classic 80s movie that I'll talk about in just a bit. And then we get the killer, no pun intended, beach house. And when they step forward on the sand, it also reminded us of the scene from The Wizard of Oz when they first step into the field of poppies. The door shows a full moon, which the teen says is
The water phase.
So this foreshadows two things in this episode. One, that this is the potions trial. The majority of potions begin with water, but it also foreshadows that the house will flood. It's such a cool detail to add, and I wonder if every trial will have that kind of foreshadowing. Maybe the Coven will begin to realize that the entrance will clue them into what every trial is so they can prepare. Additionally, the moon is deeply intertwined with witchcraft. Moon magic appears across cultures and is the belief that moon phases affect rituals and other magical practices. Typically, the full moon, the phase we see here, is the strongest time for magical users. Agatha always wears a mother, maiden, and crone pin, also known as the three-moon goddess. Each archetype represents the phase of the moon. The maiden represents the waxing moon, the mother represents the full moon, and the crone represents the waning moon. And I just want to say that I love this little interaction between Sharon and Agatha.
Well, we don't want to surprise anyone, don't we?
One of the coolest and most memorable things about Agatha in WandaVision was her theatrics. She literally created a theme song for her reveal. That was not just for the audience. She literally revealed herself to Wanda in song. And I love that even in subtle ways, they've kept her a theatrical and over-the-top character. There's also this little crab pillow on the bench. Now, this could just be keeping up with the beach house theme, but it might also relate to the zodiac sign, Cancer, which is a water sign. After all, they do show a zodiac man in the credits. And if you want cool decor and clothing, you should check out our merch store, ScreenCrushMerch.com, where we have our brand new Mephisto Confirmed shirt. We also have other great shirts like Get On Loser, We're Flying the Cursed Road, This Is Gonna Be a Gas, and of course, Ross 24. We've got everything you need, like this Pippin's Full Shire Breakfast placemat and this X-Men Nighthawks tote. And this brand new Westview Neighborhood Watch shirt.
And the neighborhood watch is the only thing that stands between the trees and the toilet paper.
And at the bottom it says, we don't say her name because, well, you know.
Ooh, we try not to say her name.
Shopping our merch store is the best way to support our channel, and we designed all this merch ourselves. Thank you guys so much. Now, back to Agatha. When they step into the house, they're transformed into stereotypical rich housewives. Just like WandaVision, Agatha is taking from TV show tropes. In this case, it's TV shows like Big Little Lies and Revenge, and The Real Housewives that feature rich women in beautiful houses that have a deadly secret. And of course, they drink too much wine. They find the invitation, and then Sharon discovers the bottle of wine. Agatha says,
But if we don't follow these obvious breadcrumbs, we can't move forward and we won't get to the big prize.
which, along with a common saying, is a reference to Hansel and Gretel, foreshadowing their escape at the end of the episode. Jennifer goes with the teen to get a corkscrew and says,
Did you know she traded her own child for the Book of the Damned?
Now, I think this might be a misdirect, but I'll get to that a little bit later. Also, just a reminder that Agatha's son in the comics is Nicholas Scratch, and we even saw his name last episode. Nicholas is a powerful sorcerer himself who led a hidden community of witches called New Salem. And then, oh my god, she said it!
Or an agent of Mephisto?
Wait, who's Mephisto again? It's been a while since I watched our WandaVision videos.
Okay, so Mephisto is the MCU version of the devil, although they make it clear that he's not actually the devil from the Bible, which is totally because they just didn't want to have beef with the church. He takes his name from Mephistopheles, which is a demon in German folklore. In the comics, he's fought Doctor Strange, the Silver Surfer. He even holds Dr. Doom's mom in hell, which set him on his whole path to becoming a villain. He is truly
the most devious bastard in New York City.
Now, a huge fan theory in WandaVision was that Mephisto would show up. And let me be clear, I acknowledge that theory because it was so popular, but I personally never actually thought that Mephisto would show up. He is tied to Wanda's story in the comics because her twin sons at one point were shards of Mephisto's soul. It's a long story, but point is, I never actually put all my eggs in that basket. However, it is finally confirmed that Mephisto will appear in the show Ironheart, and he'll be played by Sacha Baron Cohen. So this show is actually a great place to lay down that groundwork. Jennifer also says,
I doubt she'd even recognize her own son if he showed up at her doorstep.
And I think this is a total red herring, but again, more on that in a second.
Communism is just a red herring.
As soon as they drink the wine, a timer starts, and I have no idea if this was intentional or not, but this really reminded me of the first Saw movie. In Saw, two characters wake up in a bathroom and find out that the air is filled with poison. In a game set up by Jigsaw, they only have a set amount of time before they find the antidote before they die. The teen asks about Alice's tattoo, and she says,
In Colorado, my mom was playing Red Rocks.
Now, Red Rocks is a really cool amphitheater outside of Denver. And remember how I said we'd come back to Nicholas Scratch? Well, here we go. So New Salem, the town of witches that Nicholas led, was actually in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. So my guess is that the tattoo is somehow related to that community. And Alice doesn't know what happened to her mother. So what if she's actually hiding out in New Salem with Agatha's son? It could also be that she is part of this Salem 7 who are coming after them. The Salem 7 in the comics are the grandchildren of Agatha, and they are all from Salem, Colorado. Also, notice that the teen says,
All happened to me at 13 too.
So I wonder if Marvel will make magic similar to mutant powers, the powers often present during puberty.
Damn it, who's secretly an X-Man?
Sharon says,
A witch is really just another name for a bad girl.
and this is more than just a joke. This is actually a reference to the women who have been deemed witches throughout history. Oftentimes, these witches were simply women who didn't go along with the status quo. They were the bad girls in their community, so of course, they were labeled as something evil. Also, notice that Lilia says,
Do you see any pointy hats in here? Any green skin? Any brooms? No, sir.
Now this is super ironic because we know from the trailer that we'll see all of those things later in the show. Now, I love the swelling caused by the potion. Of course, this isn't what regular swelling from an allergic reaction looks like. This mimics overdone Botox, a pointed jab at the actresses and reality stars who populate these type of shows. Now, when they realize what the poison is, Agatha tries to run. You know, we barely got to see the true Agatha in WandaVision. Most of the time, she was just playing Agnes. And now I'm so glad this show lets her just be unapologetically awful. She's selfish and conniving and even petulant at times.
You know what? No!
Yeah. I'm sure she'll have an arc where she eventually cares for the Coven, but I'm so happy they didn't soften her to make her more palatable at this stage. And on that note, Agatha is partially responsible for Sharon's death. During this scene, Lilia says,
We are wasting time.
You have to drink, Agatha.
and Sharon dies because they don't give her the antidote fast enough. There's a reasonable argument that Agatha killed Sharon because her own selfishness forced the group to stall. Now, when the teen takes the drink, Agatha goes,
No.
and I definitely think this is because of the loss of her own son, Nicholas Scratch. And then we get this heartbreaking scene.
Wanda, I'm begging you. Let him breathe.
So this is actually a reenactment of this scene from the first episode of WandaVision.
Stop it.
In her head, Sharon was pleading, but because of Wanda's hex, all we saw was the uncanny laugh. Small detail, the door they entered displayed a full moon, the water phase as the teen said. Behind Jennifer, there are two hanging lights that also look like full moons. And since the moon controls the ocean tides, this foreshadows that the tide will literally be at their doorstep. As Agatha and Lilia look for petroleum, suddenly Lilia says,
Try to save Agatha.
Now, last episode we found out that Lilia can't completely control when she's clairvoyant. So my guess is that she was actually having a clairvoyant episode here, and I bet that she'll even repeat those exact words later on in the season. Behind Alice and the teen, there's a painting of a stork, which is definitely a reference to the 1970s episode of WandaVision, which is especially fitting since Alice is about to have a 70s era flashback. And then they all start to hallucinate. So let's break down these one at a time, starting with Lilia's hallucination. She follows a little girl and then sees the literal embodiment of death over her. And remember, last episode she said,
When I was chased out of every village I passed through for accurately predicting tragedy.
So I bet that comment and this flashback are related. Maybe Lilia tried to warn them, but they didn't listen. And when it came true, they blamed her. Alice, meanwhile, sees her mom, who says,
Your grandmother died today, thousands of miles away, and I could still feel her when it happened.
Now in the comics, Lorna Wu was killed by a demon, so I wonder if, in the show, the demon chased down the whole family. Hell, maybe it's even Mephisto. Now, Jennifer's hallucination is one of the most interesting. First of all, notice how immediately there are water refractions all over the walls. Now, the house is genuinely descending into water, but in the comics, Jennifer has a connection to Atlantis. She is part of the cult of Zarad-Na, who descend from the Atlantean witch that predicted Atlantis' doom. So I wonder if the water effects here are a nod to her comic history, and if we might even hear of the cult of Zarad-Na at some point in this show. Also, the man she sees is clearly a doctor of sorts, and later Agatha says,
But I left you alone because what you were doing was important.
And in this world, potions are often used to heal things, much like medicine. So I wonder if Jennifer was providing medical help to the people the system ignored. Notice the doctor looks like he's wearing like 50s style scrubs. In the 50s, Jennifer would definitely get persecuted for being a black female medical practitioner, especially if she helped other people of color who were left out of the system. So I wonder if that is the important work that Agatha referred to. As they brew the potion, Agatha sees the Darkhold in a crib, and she seems genuinely upset. This doesn't look like a woman who sold out her son callously. So we have a theory. In episode 1, Rio says,
Do you remember why you hate me?
I bet Rio is responsible for trading Nicholas for the Darkhold, either by trading him without Agatha's knowledge or by influencing her. Then, horrified by what they'd done, Agatha ran off with the Darkhold, which would explain why Rio wants to kill her. Now, when the potion is wrong, it goes green. Bright green is often associated with envy as well as disease. This could symbolize where this coven stands now. They don't trust each other. As a coven, they are sick. But blue is the color of relaxation and peace, so it could symbolize how this coven can heal. After all, they only got the potion right after Agatha showed a somewhat softer side of herself and gave Jennifer a pep talk. Also, when Jennifer is freaking out, she says,
He stole my magic!
And I'm almost certain that she's referring to the man from her hallucination. So, they have to exit through an oven, a classic reference to Hansel and Gretel. And of course, when Lilia says,
That happened to a friend of mine once. She had a lovely house too.
She's referring to the candy house that the witch used to lure in kids. Another thing I love about this show is that Agatha is forced to act unselfishly for purely practical reasons. They don't try to soften her or make her act out of sudden goodness of her heart. She just has to help so the rogue doesn't kill her. Also, when they go down the slide, it reminded me of this scene from The Goonies. Now, notice when they picked up Sharon, she is completely stiff.
But hasn't she been knocked out the whole time?
Actually, no. When they give her the antidote, she briefly wakes up. Now, they were running right up against the clock, so it is possible that they truly were just too late. But I'm wondering if the road took her out more directly since, as Jennifer said earlier,
well, whoever she is, she has no business on the road.
Also, we never actually see her body come down the slide. She's just suddenly there. That seems like some tricks from the road to me.
Yo, that's like bloody witchcraft to me.
Now, like I said earlier, I'm not sure we're completely done with Sharon.
Who's Sharon?
But her death really raises the stakes for the show. Marvel's been famously scared to kill people in their most recent projects, and killing off the most innocent and nicest character shows us that the road is not messing around. This also clears up space for Rio Vidal to re-enter the picture. We know from the trailers that she'll end up on the Witch's Road with them as a green witch.
What's up?
I'm Rio.
But person, why would she travel the road?
Well, I have a feeling that the Salem 7 weren't too happy that she let Agatha go. And let's be clear, she's also scared of the Salem 7. We see that in the first episode.
The worst of them. The Salem 7.
So she may be running from them, and that is why she needs to join this coven. Also, notice the leaves around them are red. Earlier in the episode, before the water trial, they were blue. So I bet in the next episode, we will get a trial related to fire. And then we kick to the credits with the awesome Indie Sleaze song, Off With Your Head by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Is it a little dark to play this right after Sharon died? Yes. But I love it because Sharon, or Mrs. Hart, was sort of like the Queen of Hearts in this, which relates back to Off With Her Head. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I like that it was more or less a self-contained trial with character building sprinkled in, and I can't wait to see what we get next week. But guys, that's just what we thought, and big shout out to the writer of this video, Brianna McLarty. You can find her social links below. So what did you guys think? Did you find any Easter eggs we missed? Let us know in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.